Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is D-Free. I want to welcome you guys back to another video today. Today, Dr. Blick and I, who is my co-host for this video, we're going to be talking about Frieza and his 4-month transformation versus, Goku and Vegeta's power through the years. So why don't you go ahead and say what's up, Blick?
Yo, what is good, my people? It is your UK troller brother, Dr. Blick, the darkest man around, and I'm here with D-Free to do this discussion video.
And boy, oh boy, oh boy, he is not lying. I mean, this guy is the darkest guy you will ever meet in your life. I'm not even joking. But
are you trying to make me blush or something, bro? Trying to make me fool.
No, so I wanted to bring Blick on because me and Blick share a lot of common interests and a lot of the same ideas for the most part. Minus the fact that he's extraordinarily dark. But I wanted to talk about Frieza because, I get comments on videos and I'm in other people's comment sections. By the way, if you guys see me in other people's comment sections, I'm being incognito at that point. Like, don't comment and be like, hey, D-Free, what's up? Or I like your video. Like, because I'm just like, shh, I'm incognito. But back on the topic, I was commenting in other people's comment sections and, I brought up the Frieza thing and someone was like, oh, that's BS, how he could get that strong that short amount of time. And it took Vegeta and Goku forever to get that strong. And I'm like, hey, slow down, butter your cheeks up like Dr. Blick would say and sit those cheeks down. It's definitely possible. While I agree that it's a bit of a cop-out, it doesn't mean it's impossible for Frieza to get that strong. So yeah, that's my opening segment there. Blick, you have anything you want to add to that?
I feel like the whole situation is a arse pool is a big arse pool, but they used the arse pool to their advantage. Like, it wasn't like an arse pool that you can say that, okay, you can't say it's BS, but it wasn't an arse pool that you can say that no, there's no way he can train to be that strong, because they always use the fact that Frieza was born with a power level of, like, I'm not even sure what his power level was, because power levels in Dragon Ball Z are BS. But he was born with a high power level, and all that kind of gets into the fact of him being able to be this strong and being in this like state that he's in. Because the thing about Frieza is the potential of that they can put him as is limitless. They can pretty much say, okay, this guy is so strong to the point that if he trains this certain amount of time, he can be on this level. They can pretty much pull stuff out of their asses like they do in DBZ or DBS, whatever you want to call it, all the time. But yeah, that's pretty much what I got to say so far.
Yeah, and the weird thing about Frieza is because when you look at his character throughout the years and whatnot, back to whenever we were first introduced to him, it was stated that Frieza himself said, hey, my final form is my base form. So essentially what that means is that the first form, the second form, and the third form were Frieza finding a way to suppress his power because supposedly he can't control it, which is kind of weird because he seemed to be controlling it perfectly fine when he unleashed it against Goku in the fight, but that's neither here nor there. But they're not really, him powering up when he's going through these transformations, where he's going back to his first form. That's him suppressing and more suppressing the power. But the final form power is 120 million. That's ridiculously overpowered. When you look at Goku, let's just specifically talk about Goku right now because he was born with such a low power level. Like, what was it? Single digits? It was like 10, 5? Like, what was it? I don't know. I'm bad with power levels. I'm bad with math. But it was so low compared to Frieza, whose is so fucking high. And Frieza never trained a day in his life. When you factor those two things and such a huge amount of just space between their overall power levels, it's really not hard to understand how Frieza could get so strong if he did actually apply himself. And that's one thing you can say about villains in general. They have so much potential, but they never maximize it. They never train. They never do anything. Like, I think Cell was the only one that actually trained. He used that 10-day gap to get stronger. He's the only one that actually did it. Like, if Kid Buu was to fucking train, that guy would be so overpowered. It's ridiculous. Same goes for Super Buu. Like, those guys, if they train, they would be so freaking strong. But the whole Frieza thing, I think the main thing that gets people up in arms and gets them pissed off is the 4-month thing. Like, it's not hard to understand, but when you put a number to it and such a short amount of time versus Goku and Vegeta, where it took them years upon years to get that strong, it kind of becomes, kind of hard. And like you said, it's an ass pull. Like it's just like, oh, let's just make Frieza relevant again. Here's some shit that you can say. Boom, there it goes. It works perfectly, but you can't deny that it's just some shit that Toriyama pulled out his ass completely.
Yeah, the way I see this as well is the fact that it is a massive ass pull, but Toriyama's like, you know what? I'm gonna bring Frieza back. Then I'm gonna send it back to where he was to begin with. I'm gonna bring it back and I'm gonna send it back, because Frieza has come back before, but he's come back in like little filler tidbits, like just him coming back getting one-shotted by Gohan, and now he is one-shotting Gohan. He's come back. He's done all these stuff before, but for him to actually get this strong, for me, I'm not gonna lie, I still feel, I don't care what no one says, no matter how much people can convince me. For them to choose that way, that route, it was an arse pull. It was the easiest option. It was an arse pull, but they used the arse pull to their advantage, because you can't say that Frieza's potential. We don't know Frieza's potential. If that's his base form, if he trains for 4 months, we don't know how strong he can get, because we don't know his full potential and what his full potential can take him to. Because like you said, Goku and Vegeta, they trained so hard to get to the position that they're in. They trained so unbelievably hard to get into the position that they were in terms of strength, power, and all that, yada yada yada. So you got anything else to add to that?
Yeah, and one last thing I did want to kind of bring up here was that, it's kind of interesting, like I said, they trained so long, Frieza trained a short amount of time, and it's weird because Frieza, if you look at the nature of his training with Tagoma, he didn't train with anybody. He trained by himself. He just practiced on Tagoma. That's really what it was. It's not like when exactly. It's not like when Goku went in the room of Spirit and Time with Gohan and they were literally training together, even though Goku was kind of training behind Gohan's back on his own a little bit. But it wasn't that type of dynamic. So it's weird, because if you look at Frieza and you say, okay, well, let me put him in a room with somebody of equal strength, how strong can this guy legitimately get? Seriously. Because Goku even mentioned, he was like, damn, if you were an evil, you'd be a great sparring partner. How strong could Frieza legitimately get? So I had a question for you, Blake, because this is something that, people kind of use as a counter argument to just validate, saying, hey, this doesn't really make sense. This is just bullshit. He can't really get that strong, yada, yada, yada. And I say, hey, it makes sense. Well, they say, okay, so does that mean that if Frieza were to train for like a year and a half, could he be stronger than Beerus and Whis? How do you feel about that? Because we don't know his potential, like you said. And I mean, he got this strong in 4 months, so that would imply that, Frieza has a whole Broly complex where he could get infinitely stronger, even though that's not really the case with Broly. That's just a misconception. But I wanted to get your thoughts on that, so my bad for cutting you off.
So the way I look at it is you need to take into account that I feel like Beerus is going to continue getting stronger, because he's still getting trained, he's still progressing, he's still learning stuff, because Whis has still stated that there's some stuff that Beerus doesn't know himself. So for him to get stronger than Beerus has to be on a standstill. And the way Beerus is going around destroying things, and the way he is still keeping himself in the same shape and constantly improving himself within battle, I still feel like Frieza would not be able to destroy Beerus. And plus, the fear factor as well will kind of hinder him from destroying Beerus. And the whole Whis thing, I think that's a bit too ambiguous, because I know a year, but we don't know what could happen in a year. That's too ambiguous to say. I don't know how strong Frieza is, because think about it, if Frieza worked on that current form that he had, he could have got stronger than he was against. He could have wiped the floor against Goku. And plus, we need to take into account that how strong is a Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Goku, or Super Saiyan Blue? How strong is that compared to Beerus now? We need to take that into account. And if you take that into account, then you can pretty much come to the conclusion. But me, I cannot answer that question, because I do not know. I don't know. That's a topic for another day. That's a bit wow. Like that. Whoever said that, now they really thought deep into that. But
yeah,
wow,
because
I can see where they're coming from.
It makes sense in that, given more time, Frieza could be stronger, because they did say that, if you got a little more time, you'd be more, used to this form, and he would have won the fight against Goku. He would have won, and then he would have beat Vegeta as well. Frieza wouldn't have lost to either of them, because the fatigue was the only reason he lost. But I'm not going to say that Frieza can get infinitely stronger. If you look at Beerus, The guy's a slacker, bro. He sleeps for years. He doesn't do shit. He sleeps for years, literally. And Whis, like you said, that's too ambiguous. Yeah, he trains whenever he's up, but he'll sleep for centuries. But I like you said, Whis is too ambiguous. Like, we don't know how much Frieza's potential, what his limits are, how strong Frieza can feasibly get, but I think it's pretty safe to say that all these characters are stuck where they are. They're going to stick with these forms. They're not going to get any other forms. They're going to master these forms and just, go from there. I don't see Goku and Vegeta, getting any new power-ups or anything like that. They're just going to continue to train in the SSJ Blue form and just, progress from there. So as far as we know, Golden Frieza may be just as strong as he could get, minus him actually mastering the form, because he never took the time to do so. And if that's the case, I don't really think he can compete. But I don't know. I just wanted to ask you that, because that's something that a lot of people were wondering. And if you look at it and you have the mindset, okay, well, in 4 months he got this strong, does that mean that in 4 months he could be stronger than X, Y, and Z? So it's just a little weird. But I want to ask you guys the same question. Just give me your answer. Do you think that with more time, Frieza would be able to beat a Beerus or a Whis, as ambiguous as it sounds, as crazy as it sounds? Are you guys of that mind, or do you think that this is pretty much where Frieza would potentially tap out? And also, on the side, another side question, do you guys think that it was good writing or bad writing, a good direction or bad direction, allowing Frieza to get so strong in such a short amount of time? But was there anything else you wanted to add to the video here, Blake?
I was just gonna say, within the whole him training longer, it depends. Is he training that form up, or is he trying to surpass that form? Because those are two different things. If he does one or the other, he could get really strong. But is he trying to surpass the form? It depends what his aim is within the training. Because there's so many stuff you can do within training. You can learn new techniques.
Yeah.
You can train up the form. You can get faster. You can get quicker. There's so much you can do within that time.
And the way it was implied with Frieza with that form was that was, the last form he was really going to get. That was the way it was implied. So I don't think he'd be training to surpass it. I think he'd be training to, capitalize on his weakness, which was him not mastering the form. If he were to train past that. And let's just say that the Goku and Vegeta versus Frieza fight, the Resurrection F shit, took place a year later instead of 4 months later. Given that. So it's kind of weird. I don't think he'd be working to surpass the form, because it would still be a new form, but I think he would be training within the form to master it a little longer, even though he wouldn't have been made conscious to his weakness because he never fought Goku, if that makes sense. I don't know, but I want to for one, I want to say, you guys, be sure to check out Dr. Blake's channel. He's the hypest guy on YouTube, literally, and he's also the darkest fan around, so that's got to give him some brownie points. So be sure to leave a like on the video.
Some blicky points, bro.
Some blicky points. Yeah, no, that's it for us, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.